Huh. What's this? Oh, that's neat. That's neat. Oh no, danger, Will Robinson, danger. My lock has come disengaged. This is what we're going to look at today. I got kind of a problem with this knife. You guys take a look at the logo and we'll come back and look at it in just a second. So I've seen these. I had some pictures sent to me by one of my subscribers back in 2021 of this knife. And I was kind of intrigued, and I never got to, I kind of forgot about it. I never got to see one. And then my buddy Tino got one because he was pretty interested in it. And so he's like, hey, do you want to do a video about it? And there's so much that I don't like about this knife. Now, there are some positive things about this knife. It is intriguing. I think that if they rework some of this, it would be a lot better. I think there needs to be something else going on. So this uses a lock that Snex has designed and put on here that, give me a second, I can't remember the name of it. Guys, I just looked it up and there is no name on it. It says that it's just a unique lock. So I'm going to do a video about that right after this because I don't really think it's that unique. I think it's there's so many locks now that are like this. It's really not unique at all. I'm going to mention that in a live feed. It's not unique, and I'll show you why I say that. I say that because on the bench, I have two knives that have extremely similar locking mechanisms, and there's a third mechanism that I honestly think they're so similar. There's so many of these sliding bar locks, axis locks, things like that. Now, I do have to say I really like the shark lock, but I think it's the new fad, and I don't really think it's unique. I think that there's just so many of them out there now, you can't call it unique. There's enough of these axis lock, the shark lock, the atlas lock that are similar enough in mechanism that it's not at all unique. They're becoming as commonplace as some of the others. But it does have a lock. And my biggest problem with the knife is the lock, but we'll get to that. You've got a fairly decent shaped blade. This is along the lines of a Japanese poultry knife, also known as a, what's it called? A honesuki. Honesuki knife is a Japanese poultry knife, shares these same lines with the upswept kind of Warncliffe or sheep's foot blade that comes down with the transition, but it comes up at an angle and it gives you some unique purchase. In hand, it's not horribly uncomfortable. The lock bar does stick up a little bit, which is one of my big problems. And then the pocket clip, of course, is going to be an issue. But overall, the knife is attractive. It is relatively thin. It does cut well. I've done some cutting with it. It does cut well, but it's another one of those knives that, if you can see, it's kind of out of alignment. That has to do not so much with the knife, but the proportions of my hand. So I like knives that have typically a little bit wider and broader. Certain knives with certain cutouts, the knife rolls out of the direction of the cut, and I have to constantly readjust. But if I get up on that finger choil area right there, it's not bad. Up front detail cutting, it's pretty good, and it has some really good weight. So it does have some good features, and then you can treat it a lot like the shark lock or an axis lock. You can use the lock as a deployment method, which is good because that is so tight that I have a real hard time. It's another negative. They've given you this aperture, but if you look, it is so tight. A chunk of the aperture is actually beneath the scale. So I have a hard time. Like, it does not deploy the way I would want. And the detent on this, honestly, is really soft. And sometimes, even if you do get good purchase, it doesn't want to go. Counteracting that, it is very smooth. So I'm not sure if Tino bought this brand new or if he bought this secondhand, because I did see that pretty much everywhere I would look, they're out of stock. Jet's coming through. I meant to mention this at the beginning, guys. This is going to be a one and done video. This is the only video I'm doing about this. I just don't want to carry it anymore to even do it. So I'm not even going to pull up any specs. I might pull up a spec sheet somewhere. But at any rate, like I said, it does have some good feet, but that's just, it's not great. Like I said, if you get up on it, it's pretty comfortable, and it's a well-designed shaped blade, but that's where everything for me ends. So like I said, this pocket clip, I've never been a fan of these. I like John Graham, rest in peace. I liked his knives. I never liked his pocket clips. These pocket clips to me they don't position your knife in a way I really would want them to. By the time I get the knife in my pocket the way I want, it's backwards as to what I would want. So when I pull a knife out of my pocket, see here, this is going to have my blade facing this side. If I do it this way, the knife sits at an angle like this. If I get it like this in the corner, then the blade is away and I have to relocate. So I don't like these pocket clips because for me, they just don't work. And then on top of that, they provide you a pretty good hotspot. For me, there you go. See, didn't even deploy all the way. Sometimes I just can't get it to deploy. So for me, sometimes those get in a position where it's a hotspot. I can feel that everywhere on that knife. The action on it, like I said, detent's pretty soft. You can deploy it like this, but it does have a tendency to pop back open when you're coming out, which is not so much an issue. That happens with my Axis locks and the other locks. The lock is kind of cool. It's pretty simple. There is just, you can see it work here. There is just a cutout on the blade here. And then there's a spot on the lock that just drops in. And you can see it's a pretty plain and simple, straightforward lock. Now, let's get into the problem I have with it. Snex designed this so that it has detent. Your lock provides both the detent and the lockup. So you see here, it's in that fashion, very, very similar to an Axis bar lock. You see what I'm saying? It's very similar to the sliding bar lock or the Axis lock that Benchmade patented. So let's get in here close so you can see it drops in there, and now it's locked because that's a much sharper area. And then this area here provides your detent. It drops in there, less rounded, not a top part on it to catch. So it just kind of allows you a little bit of detent, but it's very soft. Now let's talk about the big problem I have with this lock. Rubber Chicken is here to help me emphasize the ridiculousness of what I'm about to show you. So I did not know this. I didn't realize this. I was given this knife and I was messing with it and playing around with it. And in a video, it happened, but it happened to me right before I shot said video. I was doing the unique knives video. This lock, there's nothing keeping it in position. So if you were to push down and accidentally pull a little bit, right? Because by the time you pull it back to unlock, you're now in a position where you have just disengaged your lock entirely. From what I was told, this was a design thing, so you can get in there and clean. I think it's just an oversight that has been marketed as a design feature because I know no one that would want to put a knife out that does that. So I've been critical of some of the stuff Snex does. A lot of times these are things that are, you can get back out of here. These are things that are done form over function. And there's a lot of knives that go out on the market that have some oversight. I've seen it in other knives, other companies, but I think that there should have been some testing process to make sure that something like that doesn't happen. Now, if you wanted to have it so it was removable and you could do that, you could simply have some sort of little latch mechanism that you take that screw out and then you can remove the lock. I don't see this being any easier. And to tell you the truth, even though it does come out, I don't see that gives you very much access. Like, you still would have to disassemble the knife to get to this area back here. So overall, not only do I think it's a poor design, I think it's hazardous because you could easily do that by accident and not realize it while you're putting it in your pocket. Like, just be messing around, catch it on something while it's going into your pocket. Picture this. It catches the seam of your pants and then you put it in your pocket and then you don't realize it. Now your knife has come open in your pocket. And that's not an unforeseeable thing. If you're just jamming this down in your pocket and it catches the seam, it does not take a lot and it doesn't even have to deploy the knife all the way. You can easily accidentally disengage your lock and completely remove it from the lockup area. And then you just basically have a broken knife. So I do have a big problem with this. I think it's a safety thing. And like I said, I like to point these things out to you guys. This is the only video I'm gonna do about this knife. So overall, in my opinion, this knife is I just did it again by accident. That wasn't even intentional. I was just trying to deploy the knife. It needs to be much more difficult to do that. There needs to either be a second stage on that where you push back and then you have to push like, you shouldn't be able to just accidentally, in the course of using that knife, because not everybody's just going to pull straight back, because that's what you're supposed to pull straight back. Yeah, but you don't pull straight back. That's not how your fingers work. When you have this in your hand, you're pulling back. You're not just coming straight back. Your finger's going to pull up, no matter how hard you try not to. So big problems with this knife. Not a fan. I thought it would be cool, and I liked the look of it until I handled it for like about 5 minutes. So yeah, this is an overall pass, maybe a 3 out of 10, because it does have a really good, intriguing blade shape that's pretty comfortable in hand. I didn't realize how incredibly bad it was to do that. Like, it did it once, and then it did it again while I was filming the previous video, the unique knives. And it happened, and I was like, oh yeah, this is becoming an issue. And now it has happened to me successively several times since I shot that video. So there you go, guys. That's it on this one. I hate to shit on something. I think that this could be a really good knife if they just rework a couple things. If you like this pocket clip, I mean, that would be a good thing. The only other negative on it besides the lock really was the pocket clip. For me, it's not design features that make this uncomfortable in hand. It's just the size of my hand. It happens a lot. I got really big hands, and there just are some items that just aren't comfortable for me to use just because of the size of my really overly large hands. So that's not a knock on it. That design, not all knives are going to fit all hands. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't like the pocket clip. If you like that pocket clip, then just, think about it real hard about whether that lock just being that easy. Like, I mean, literally, I'm not trying. If I was just slapping that for a quick deployment, then I've completely disengaged it. So there you go, guys. Not to be a negative Nancy, but I'm sorry. I can't get behind this one. So I said, that's it on this one, guys. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. Please try to tell me why I can't change the content. If you don't, tell me what you don't like. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the bell icon. And if you do hit the bell icon, make sure you got notifications turned on your device. There's some other ways you can support the channel. If you want to support the channel so that it doesn't cost you anything at all, but it still does support, if you have stuff you would like to see on the channel, reach out to me. My email address is in the description below. And you can reach out to me, send me a picture of an item in a description, and I can see if it's something I've either already done, something I think would play well, or if it's something I'm not interested in, and I'll let you know, and maybe we can get your knives on the channel. There are some ways you can support the channel financially. One of the biggest ways that also costs you nothing is my affiliate links down below, especially the Amazon ones. Anything you purchase on Amazon.com with any of my affiliate links directly supports the channel, doesn't cost you anything at checkout, and I get a little portion of it. I also have some other ones down below. I have Doll Strong Knives if you're looking for good quality kitchen knives. I have got Blade HQ, Coffee Brand Coffee, and a VPN, which is the one that I use. I always like to pick affiliates that I am happy with the products. So all that stuff down there, I have tested, used myself, and they're all good products. Other ways you can do it, I have a membership down below. It's tier-based, bunch of different tiers. Everyone has access to the Gilded server. Baseline and premium tier members are automatically entered into a giveaway I do on the Gilded server, and the premium guys have access to a sharpening tutorial series I built for them on YouTube, and that's the only way you can access it. And the final way is I have a merchandise store on Ember Shirt Co. where I can save you 10% anywhere on Ember Shirt Co., even on other creators' shirts. And that coupon code is CrazySharp, all one word, capital C, capital S, CrazySharp. Saves you 10% at checkout. Meant to mention it, so does the Doll Strong affiliate. You save 10% on your overall purchase of kitchen knives there. They also have some really good sharpening stones. So, guys, that's it. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. And I'll see you in the next video.